we've been able to work with clients like Monster Energy, Samsung, Beats by Dre, YouTubers like Logan Paul, Airrack, Brent Rivera.
This is my first episode in which I talk to creators around the country. And basically in this episode, we're going to be chatting with Caleb Alvarez, a filmmaker who has shot commercial work for brands such as Samsung, American Eagle, and Monster, to name a few. So Caleb has been a really inspiring filmmaker for me over the past year or so. He's been building out a creative agency, and so I just wanted to kind of hop on a call and chat with him about the creative process. So I've kind of structured this video in an interview style, so without further ado, this is Caleb Alvarez. Hey man, can you kind of start us off with how you just got started just within the filmmaking industry?
For me personally, I decided not to go to college. My parents weren't going to pay for my school, so I was going to be getting into debt. And I was really fearful of the aspect of I didn't want any debt. And I also didn't want to pay for something that I truthfully, at the core root of what I wanted to do, I didn't want to go to school.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to build a business, right? And so luckily and thankfully, I was able to not go to college. If you saw my story, I was making waffles, to start, right? I was making waffles. I had to have some sort of a plan. And at that point, when I was making waffles in 2018, I didn't even own a camera, right? You're a sophomore and you own a camera. Put it into perspective, I was a senior, I graduated, and I didn't even own a camera, right? And so what ended up happening was I bridged this gap of truthfully working on tons of free projects to learning how to charge and quote people correctly and provide more value than was even imaginable for them, and really implement now what we're doing and prior. I've had to learn a lot. Take Waffles and not owning a camera 3 years later to living in LA, we're scaling to over a 6-figure company, having multiple employees. We've been able to work with clients like Monster Energy, Samsung, Beats by Dre, YouTubers like Logan Paul, Airrack, Brent Rivera. And 3 years ago, I was making waffles, right? So to say I understand directly how you feel is an understatement. I was you. I was you.
Yeah, so obviously you've been able to work with these top brands, but to get to the point in where you're at now, you've obviously had to do, I'm assuming, a bunch of free work, like you said. So can you kind of explain how you feel on Spec Projects, and are they really worth investing your time into?
Spec Projects aren't wrong as long as they lead to something larger than I would probably argue a Jeep spec piece is not the best spec piece to be working on, right? If you think about Jeep, it's what are the odds that Jeep, you send it to Jeep and they're like, this is phenomenal, here's 50 grand, go do it again at a higher level. If you're doing a video that costs $100, the end result is probably going to be worth $100.
So it was at this point in the video in which Caleb kind of started breaking down the process and which it was like for him to get to the point that he is now. And he just made the comment of a production that cost $100, likely the video is going to be worth $100. And it was kind of at this point in which I realized exactly what you put in is exactly what you're going to get out. For Caleb to get to the point where he is now, shooting thousands and thousands of dollars worth of projects, it only started by shooting these $100 projects. Can I ask what entirely made you not go to college other than having student debt? Did you have something to back you up on?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to my mind where I was at is this. I would have had $40,000 of debt. I was the second best player in Indiana. So I won all of the awards that you could have won. And I was going to go D2, and I was still going to have to pay $11,000 every year.
Yeah.
$11,000 times 4 is $44,000. And I was like, man, $44,000 in 4 years of my life, and I don't even like school?
Yeah.
Man, it just it doesn't make sense. It's tough to say, but it's something to assess. I looked at who was giving me advice, whether it be your parents, your aunt, your uncle, so on and so forth. And would I trade places with them where they're at?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and there's no right or wrong answer, like by any means.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong answer. Would you trade places with who's giving you advice? And it's something to think about. I don't know. For me, I was like, I respect my parents, but no.
Yeah.
I went to California my junior year, and I was like, wow. And I was also like, I don't want to live here. Why? Because I was scared. Like, I was scared of competition. I was like, all of these people are so passionate about what they do, and I'm here like, I don't even own a 24-70 lens. I got like a little Canon 6 or a 6D with a 50 millimeter lens. Like, how am I going to compete against these people?
Yeah.
And like, now some of those people work for me. I know 24-year-olds who are doing millions of dollars that didn't even graduate high school.
Yeah.
Millions. And it doesn't come down to a degree. It doesn't come down to a diploma. It's really about like your vision and what you see.
You know, I really do appreciate you, you know, letting me kind of key some topics off of you. So.
Yeah, man, no problem. I appreciate your time as well. I think like if I can leave you with one thing, the biggest piece of advice someone ever told me that like changed my course was treat yourself like a business and you'll make money like a business, right? And like that's just something to think about and integrate. And when you do that, there will be a huge shift that happens. Look at any business and look at how they operate. And then when you do that, you'll make money like a business. And it doesn't matter whether you're 15, 16, 14, 13, 17, 22. As long as you take one thing away where it's of value to you, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty.
So, all right, brother. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
All right, peace.